The shady lanes with your baby mine. You hold her hand and she holds yours, and that's a very good sign that she's your tootsie wootsie in the good.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Tony. All right. Do we have any visiting Rotarians, Joseph?
As president and current treasurer, we have no Rotarians.
Thank you. Do we have guests of Rotarians today? No.
No operation.
Oh. Guests of Rotarians? No. Sydney, are you sitting quietly?
Alright, so we have Sydney here. She's interning with us at Revealing and the Thomasville Women's Club. She's going into hospitality, doing amazing things. She helped us pull off 7 amazing events last week. So
Welcome, Sydney. Are there any other guests? Okay, announcements. I know there were a lot of announcements scrolling around. Hopefully, you guys have had a chance to look at the bulletin. I know Kim put the largest announcement in here that she needs to know your committee choices for next year. And if you're not new to Rotary, you know that Kim will assign you likely to the committee you do not want to be on if you don't touch base with her. So please see Kim about any committee choices for next year. Does anybody else want to point out announcements?
First of all, I'm not as bad as she says. I have sent everyone their insert for the yearbook. If you have not sent that back to me, please do. Or what will happen to them, Don?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
She will put something in there.
We just make, I can put things in there that you probably wouldn't really do. But anyway, send it back. We want our yearbook to be accurate. If somebody needs to call you or send you a card, or you want to send somebody a card, you want the address to be right. So if everybody would just look at that for me and send it back to me, just okay to print. I'm good. Thank you very much.
By the way, Kim, thanks for not putting pickleball in there.
I did not put pickleball in there for you this time. Because he will respond.
Thank you, Kim. Cameron, did you have an announcement?
Yeah, this Friday, tourism is partnering with the High Toms for a free event. It's bluegrass music. It's a band called New Blue, and they'll be playing on the city's Finch Field from 5 to 6:30. So come by for a free concert on Finch Field, which is kind of neat. And if you want to stay for the High Toms game, that'll be at 7, and that's this Friday.
All right, awesome. Larry, did you want to mention anything about the blood drive?
Well, it's coming up the third Thursday, which I believe is June 20th. We only have 8 people signed up so far, so we have lots of slots. You can
All right, so you can sign up early for that blood drive and stuff. Brandon?
I just wanted to say thank you for all the supporters who came out and were supporting our dinner of champions here last Thursday. Thanks to Steve for the food. It was a really, really special night, and still getting calls and emails about it. So thank you, everyone who helped make that happen.
Keith?
We got our next networking opportunities tomorrow here. Thank you guys for opening up the doors to the Women's Club. There's some coffee connections here at 8:30 in the morning, so if you want to come out, please do.
Okay. Any other announcements? I think it's a little early to point this out, but guys, please remember we will not meet that week of 4th of July, and then that last week in June, we do installation of officers. So we kind of have installation of officers, no meeting, and then go straight into a club assembly for our first meeting that we're back here in July. All right. I think Billy did split the pot today.
Did. You got a real good chance today, only 51 cards. And we'll be splitting $108, I believe. 2 kids.
168. He can't read my writing.
Nice.
Really, no applause.
It's complimentary on the
Yeah,
call.
thank you. Thank you, Billy.
I didn't know whether to cheer for him or not.
All right, and so, you guys will have to bear with us a few minutes on this. I'm gonna let Keith come up and do the introduction first, and then we're gonna do a technology changeover so that we can get a PowerPoint set up.
My pleasure today to ask a couple of people to come share about the golf course. I don't know if you know, how many's been to Winding Creek Golf Course? Great golf course in our community, I'm telling you. And you're gonna hear some numbers today, I think that will surprise you about what's been happening out there. Don and I have been on the golf course advisory council. I've been on it for 26 years, and you've been on about that long, since 1998. And there's a lot of things happening recently, last couple of years anyway, Alan, that's really made some improvements out there. And I thought it was a great time to share that with you and let you know what's going on and sharing some numbers. Jason Gentle's on the program. He's at the beach actually. He's the pro out there. Alan's here. Alan Crockett. He's the superintendent of our course who does a tremendous job. Played several golf courses lately, and I guarantee you Winding Creek's up there with him. No doubt about it as far as the plushness of it and all that. And then ask Corey, he's going to fill in for Jason, and Alan's going to say a few words. So, invite you guys up. Let's give them a hand.
We're gonna play the waiting game now to see if it registers.
Well, I'll go ahead. While it probably loads, I'll go ahead and get started. Obviously, you see me up here, you're thinking Parks and Recreation, and what does that have to do with the golf course? But over the last year, our city council and our manager, along with myself, have worked on the implementation and integration of the golf course into our recreation department. What that means is that now our recreation department has expanded to 4 divisions between programs, park maintenance, our golf maintenance areas, and also our clubhouse area. So now Winding Creek will be a general fund. What that in turn means is that the golf course now is a full functioning entity of the Parks and Recreation Department within our city government. And so I think that I'll head off with some numbers, quick numbers, but again, as Dad, Keith was alluding to, we have a lot of great things happening out there that are on course that I really want Alan to fill you in on. He's got a wealth of experience. Obviously, I grew up playing on this course. I learned to play golf on this course. But now within my professional career, it's become an entity within our entire department. But the history that Alan knows of the course and some of the things I think are going to be really vital for everyone to understand. So one of the cool things about our golf course is the amount of play that it does see. I think that is kind of shocking to some folks, so how many rounds we actually have out on our course. But it really is becoming a triad entity. In 2024, this fiscal year, we're projecting record high over $900,000 in revenue for the golf course. So if you tie that into the revenue of our recreation department at about $250,000, we'll be clearing $1 million in revenue within our recreational entities here in the city of Thomasville. And that puts our department at about a 33-34% cost recovery, which nationally that's a great standard for something that's a general funded department. We did see a huge spike in play with 2020 COVID. If you remember that, and all the executive summaries were coming out, and everything we could do, executive orders we broke down every week, golf was greenlit, and so it was hard to keep up, and folks found golf again, or they found out that they could actually do this activity. While our gymnasiums and even playgrounds were shut down, you could still attend the course during that time. So it was an opportunity, really, to show people that the course is here. What's a very interesting point in Winding Creek is we're projected over 32,000 rounds of golf this year. So that is in turn and in line with Ocala Golf Course in High Point, as well as Blair Park. It exceeds the numbers of rounds at Blair Park last year. So Ocala saw about 35,000 rounds of golf. It's a peak dye course on Ocala Lake there, but we are seeing a really good number of number of rounds played. And one of the most interesting things about it is that 2736 zip code is 36% of those rounds. So that means in turn that the remaining of that, which I'll do in my head, is 64% of our rounds are folks coming into town to play and see our course and visit. So I think that shows that you have an entity that folks really want to be a part of, and that's because of the quality of the course. And so you'll see some of the new entities we have. The federal funds, the ARPA funds, were a blessing for our city in a variety of ways. That will help upfit our park spaces, help impact some of our employee incentives and things of that nature. But it also helped provide a rather large capital purchase for the golf course that really alleviated some of the costs that we face every 3 years to 5 years. But a new fleet of lithium golf carts have arrived on site that we hope to get 5 years out of. And so those golf carts are making a big impact because quality of play matters. If your golf cart's batteries are dying out and things like that, people understand that that's not where you want to play. So we have rectified that with the ability of these new golf carts. One other key point before I hand it over to Alan is the variety of things that our golf course provides to our community. And it's not just the individuals coming to play on the weekend or your foursome that's out or some of the senior groups that come weekly. We do have scholastic play on site. A lot of our local high schools utilize the course for their competitive play. But it also hosts big variety of tournaments. Our Mayor's Cup is held there annually. It continues to grow. Each year we book the entire event, and that's due to some of the things that have happened from the mayor's making it an important thing for him to help support nonprofits. All those funds go to help. Last year was CIS and Habitat, and each year the mayor chooses someone else to help support through those initiatives. So a lot of different things happening on course. You'd be surprised how busy a Tuesday morning is, but there are folks on this course all the time. And that's a great thing, and one of the key components of what we do. Recreation can be golf for someone, recreation can be pickleball for someone, it can be coming to the swimming pool or using the playground, but it's a variety of different things. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Alan Crockett. He is our golf superintendent, and he has 20 plus years of experience on our course, and more than that in the field, and he can explain some of the different things that we have going on the course right now.
Well, hello. I've met some of y'all before and some of you haven't, and I am the superintendent at Winding Creek. I've been there since December of '96, but I came an employee with the city in June of '98. So I've got that experience at this golf course, but before that, I started working on golf courses when I was 17, and I turned 61 this summer. So that tells you how long I've been working on golf courses. And Winding Creek is very special to me because I've been there basically from the beginning, and I've seen it transform over the years, and it's really starting to mature and age and be a desirable place for people to come play. One of our most recent additions is the short game area. We started this in 2018. Mr. Morgan Sands, and Stewart and Jennings generously donated, over 200 loads of dirt for us to get started. And then COVID came and we had to shut down because we didn't have the funds to continue it. But since then, with the addition of the pool, we were able to get some more dirt. We were able to start working on the area. And then last year we put in the irrigation, built the green, and got it going. So we were up and going, and it's up right now. People use it every day to sit there and practice their short games and even just putt on if they want to. This is the newest thing we have, is our bathrooms on number 3. And that has been one of the points on the golf course where we've tried to, get more women involved in playing out at Winding Creek was the lack of a restroom facility for them to use. So now we have a restroom facility. And the unique thing about it is that the septic system, we have to pump it off. So we have a solar panel on the roof that has a battery and a charger on the inside that actually powers the pump to pump the effluent off into the woods. So we're trying to, be, green in that response, to try to think outside the box, to provide solutions for areas that we didn't have to run electric wire to and move it forward. This is on the inside of our new indoor facility up there at the driving range. We're continually working on that, and those are the petitions. We have 3 bays in there where we're looking forward to, and people be able to rent these out and be able to hit and take lessons, practice, or be just inside from inclement weather. We're looking forward to try to move forward in the future with using TrackMan, which is actually a program that will track your ball as you hit it out there onto the field, which will show you the path that it's going toward, help you improve your game. And one of those bays would be a dedicated teaching space, which would go in depth as far as helping you to improve your game of golf. And the TrackMan also provides a number of applications to it, including over 160 different golf courses that you can play. So you could have a foursome in there on a rainy day and be hitting balls out there on the driving range and be playing Pebble Beach or some other course at that point to where you can go out there and have a good time, still be hitting your ball out there, and it's tracking your ball and placing it where it would typically end up on that golf course. Since 2020, and the ARPA funds we were able to do some improvements. And one of the major improvements that we've done was car paths. And our biggest path was on number 5. And, a lot of our equipment goes in and out, so it's wider than the other paths, but we started putting those paths in. We did it in the fall of 2022. We did 3, 16, and 5. And then last year, we did 8 and 9 and a spot on 1 and 2. So we're trying to make it a more enjoyable place, a better place where, the cart paths are smoother, where it helps represent, a better golf course, for the people that come out and play. And all this work that we're doing encourages people to come out and play because they'll go and tell their friends, hey, you need to go out in Winding Creek to check this out and see what we're doing. So that's pretty much all it is. That's what we've got going on alongside our daily routine where we're going out and mowing grass. This month has been kind of eventful. We've had over 9 inches of rain at the golf course this month. So it's presented its challenges. And if you ever want to tour the golf course, just please look me up and say you'd like to have it go around. I'd be happy to show you around the golf course and show you what's going on. Don's a regular visitor. He tells me every Friday what's going on out there. So, I appreciate him and Keith's service on the committee to help us keep it going in the right direction. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and thank y'all very much.
Any questions for Alan or I? One thing I do want to make a quick note of that I think gets really lost in the shuffle when it comes to the city and the function of it and how it operates. The golf course is 363 days a year. So closed on Thanksgiving for your family meal and closed on Christmas morning. Other than that, it is open every day unless there's a weather issue. So it operates 363 days a year. So that means that's staffing and those folks that have to be a part of that. But as you can see with Alan and some of the photos, there's a ton of different things going on. One thing that we forgot to put in this is I have the picture, I didn't put it in there, a new range machine as well. So you'd be able to come out, swipe your card and get your balls on the driving range instead of having to go to the club shop and pick them up there. So There's some innovative things with technology that they're doing as well. Very proud of the solar panel and those kind of initiatives on course. It was outside of the box to be able to do that, to make it function. But and another kudos too to Mr. Steve Techless and his group for upfitting some of the greenery around our patio area and our deck there. Really going to upfit that space to make it a space where people want to hang out and use. But any questions for Alan? He can give you tips on grass too, so if anybody's yard is acting up, and you wanna pull him to the side afterwards, he knows it better than most.
Rotary Club shelter, I mean, that's still.
The Rotary Club shelter's there, it was just pressure washed and, re-stained about a year and a half ago, I believe, so it's in good condition. A lot of different things, with the picnic tables out front there, that they're great still, but it's just a really good amenity and a great thing that our city has that we operate. So it makes a difference. There are sponsorship opportunities too, if anyone's businesses are interested in that.
Corey, was it built on the old landfill?
Yes, it was. The clubhouse side of the golf course is primarily where the old landfill was. The other side was basically virgin land at that point, and they bought it, I guess, from the Kennedys at that point. So they went out there and shaped the land. A lot of the dirt and stuff that they moved around the golf course came from the other side of the golf course that was put on top of the landfill. Now, the first several years that I was there, I had tires that had over 60 plugs in them from where we get flat tires out there from objects sticking up out of the landfill. And as we find them, we cut them off and, do it. And I get more flat tires now from golf tees than anything else. So, leaving them on top of tees and things like that, and when we're mowing tees, just happens to be at the right spot, it'll poke in the tire and go from there. So, but yeah, it's been an adventure, working with the golf courses on top of the landfill.
But what else do you do with a landfill?
That's right. Charlotte's got a couple too.
Exactly.
How much is it to play?
It is $36 on the weekend, and then I believe it is 27 or 28 during the week. We did increase just a bit.
You can come after 2:30 and get the afternoon rate.
Yeah, there is a twilight rate of 22, I believe, and that's car. But again, the other thing that it does house, and without getting too in detail, it also has some of our emergency management towers there on site too. So it's one of the best areas in the city that are utilized for that purpose. So it keeps the radios flowing throughout the county. And then our emergency management have actually hooked up a weather stem unit on those towers that give you really, really accurate weather for Thomasville. So if you want that, if you're into that, there's a live camera view of our driving range. You can see beautiful sunsets because they have some of the best sunsets in the entire city where it sits, and it faces west. But there is a weather sim station that Sam Oshinsky, our emergency management, has placed on the site there. And there's only about, Michael, you may know better than I do, like 20 of those. I mean, there's not many weather stem stations throughout the whole state. So it is a very, very accurate weather amenity for our community that you can utilize too. That's just weatherstem.com, and you look up Line
Yeah,
Creek.
it also, it'll also tell you, we've got lightning updates on it, because lightning plays havoc with our irrigation. If it's within 15 miles of the golf course, I'll get, a notification, and an alarm will go off up at the clubhouse on top of the hill. So, if you're out playing a golf course, and you hear the siren go off on the top of the hill, you should know that a storm is approaching, and there's lightning nearby.
And for any of those who play, there's a lot of different areas of it that you can get pretty far out from the clubhouse. So it is a great addition for safety because it's over 120 acres of space, and getting that horn going, letting people know, hey, you're out in the open. That's another great thing about that restroom is that it's a shelter area as well for those that are out and about. Hopefully with a grant with the fire department, we'll be able to place an AED out on site. We have one in our clubhouse, but we'd like one out into the course because things happen. We got all different age groups out there, but there's a lot of that partnership throughout the city with our course that I think folks need to know. That it's a very, very we're lucky in our community, in our city, to have the cohesiveness between our departments. So from those in the community, I hope that you know, and we want to keep telling you all that there's a lot of cohesiveness in our city government, and it makes things function very well. Any other questions? Don? Okay.
Yeah, they out there really did need to go. They've done a terrific job.
Well, you know, I can't say enough about my staff. You know, they're great guys, they work hard. You know, we're out there for a common goal, to create a great environment for people to come out and play. They take a lot of pride in it as well. And when people go out there and play and tell them, you know, how good the course looks, then it makes them feel good about it, and they bring it back and say, hey, you know, such and such told me today that, you know, the course looks great. So, I mean, you know, we work well together, and I'm blessed to have such a great crew to help, you know, with a goal, a vision that I have of what I can provide for the city of Thomasville.
And it has legs now. It's coming up on its 30th year anniversary, and the neat thing about that, in a lot of our different spaces, you know, Mayor and I connect intergenerationally on Doe Park. We both played ball there, right? And so now, 30 years into Winding Creek, there's a multi-generational use. I played ball. I learned how to play golf with my grandpa. There was no one with us. So people are getting that experience from this space, and it's one of our relatively new spaces, honestly, in our system. But we're crossing that threshold of a multi-generational impact in our community, and that's from his career and Jason's as well. Who, you know, he had a vacation with his daughter, so I said, do not miss that for this. But he sends his regards too. Yes, sir.
Is there any cost associated with keeping up the old dump part of the course now? Is there any expense to that?
There's some monitoring that goes by, that there's 6 wells on the golf course, and they come out there and they test those wells several times a year, plus take samples out of the creek. And, you know, I think that comes out of the sanitation department's budget, you know, for that testing. It doesn't come out of the golf course budget. But, you know, I guess that testing will go on indefinitely, you know, for the duration of it. But, I mean, I've never heard of anything bad coming out of there.
I think that Darrell Poole helps oversee some of that with the methane gas and those type of things that do release, to my understanding, from those wells. But it is controlled EPA things.
I think it's great use of the land, and it enhances the city, and it covers that cost and everything else.
We hope that it can be a multifaceted thing. I mean, it's there, obviously, in the Parks and Recreation Department. Again, our first focus is our residents, and those are here, you know, immediate residents. But also, I think it's an amenity that we can sell to the economic driver and those type of things, to say, bring your business here because you have an opportunity. Mohawk Industries is holding their employee tournament there now, which is great, you know. And so, looking to expand that throughout the area is something that makes it more viable. And again, too, one thing that I'm very proud of is that it's getting closer and closer to a break even. And without getting into the details of a general fund budget compared to enterprise budget and all those in between, it's getting closer and closer to standing on its legs. And that's a good thing. And we're proud of that too. Obviously, capital expenses come. But you know, overall, we're pretty proud of that too. All right. Thanks,
Just one sweet pot, got free pass.
Yeah. Switch this back over again. And I want to say thank you again, Alan. Rotary vision, along with doing the four-way test. So together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And if you will stand with me now, we'll start the four-way test. You know, one of my favorite things about the four-way test is something where we use our words verbally. And it's not on this slide, but, you know, it's on the banner over here. And it says, of all the things we think, say, or do. And so often, the birthplace of our actions is our thoughts. And so, keeping the four-way test in your thoughts, as well as the fact that we recite it each week, and it goes out and influences all of our actions. So, first, is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you for